Here's a cool guitar. It's a 1968 black Dan Armstrong plexi bass. Very rare. I think they made 4 of them. It's got a new owner and he's bugged by a chip of wood that's missing on the edge of the fretboard. Maybe somebody caught it on their shirt, I don't know. And he'd like me to put wood back in there and smooth it out. And I think I'll route a little ledge with my Dremel tool to inlay wood in there. To guide the tool, I'm going to use the saddle slotting jig. That's a tool that we have for clamping to an acoustic guitar and cutting a perfectly straight saddle slot. I'm just using it in a different way here. I'll show you how I do it. I drilled 4 holes in my jig for drywall screws, and 2 blocks that are 3/4 inch thick was the perfect height to shim this up so it rests on the fingerboard and supports the work. I'm using a variable speed Dremel on 10 with a spiral downcut bit, 1/8 of an inch, and I'm doing my cutting with the foot pedal down here on the floor. That lets me go very slow if I want to and creep right up to the wood, and I can actually feel the cut and hear it. There's a clean route right down to the glue joint. Now I'll cut a piece of rosewood to fit it. That's all I need. I've got a block of wood as a cutting board and some sharp chisels, and I'm just knocking the corners off this little teensy piece, getting it round to fit into that route. This is the super sharp file of a snap filer, and it acts like a joiner. I'm thinning the piece of wood and getting a flat edge on it. Now I'm down to a file and just rounding it so it fits into those ends. It's got to be pretty exact in the length or you're going to see it. This is all temporary right now. I'm taping it in place so I can trim it closer. I'm marking it out with a pencil. There's too much wood. It's too tall and too thick. So before I even start, I'm going to get closer. Shaving it down with the X-Acto knife. Not to final height, because I'm going to file that later. I'm using 2-hour epoxy to put that in. That's what I call it. It's a slow cure. And I'm going to color it with a little bit of pigment, ColorTone brown lacquer soluble pigment. It doesn't take much. Now I've got clear epoxy that I used first, and that's what you see along the ledge, and then I colored it brown, and I'm putting it on the ends here. That way when you look along the glue joint, you'll see a brown glue instead of a clear, and if I don't get a perfect joint, it's going to be a better look. But I didn't want brown on the bottom because it would show or stain into that maple. Here we go. Doesn't take much. It's a good fit. So I'm going to wrap it with rubber bands. I've got 2 going this way, and I'm going to get 1 up the middle. I let that glue dry about 2 hours. Sometimes I'd go overnight. It'll even be harder, but 2 hours on the slow cure and it's ready to shape on. A scraper is a good way to come close to the wood without touching the surrounding fingerboard because it's got that age on it. Scotch tape is 2/1000 of an inch thick, so that protects the finish in a case like this. When you hit that tape, you stop. Doesn't look bad, does it? Feels good too. It's amazing how much work goes into a little chip like that, you know? I don't think a lot of our customers realize that.